Greetings to one and all. I am PR Naren from Chemical Engineering Division of School of Chemical and Biotechnology, Shastra. I'm going to share with you one of the pedagogical technique that I had employed in the recent past to equip my students. Now, I typically teach the course such as fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, which are more analytical in nature for the second and third year chemical engineering students at Shastra. Now, in many of the analytical courses, one of the reason why there is a poor performance of students in test, be it internal test or semester examination, is that students do not know how to identify their own mistakes which they make in their answer paper. They get the question, they provide their answers, they write the answers, but they do not really know to judge, to assess their own answer sheets. They assume that whatever they have written is correct, and that's where is a missing gap between the solutions that you have provided and which eventually makes them not perform well in their exams. Now, why this is happening? It's because students are not trained during the class hours, during as part of the course or our tutorial hours, in finding the mistakes in solutions. How our typical tutorial session happens? In a typical tutorial session, the instructor gives problems or questions. The students solve or provide solution. Now, they may provide solution independently, or we may at least ask them to work in teams and then provide solution. And we discuss and we rectify the errors if they have committed any in their solutions. So in this model of a typical tutorial class, students are not trained to identify mistakes on their own. It is the instructor who helps the students to identify the mistake. Now, if the instructor helps to identify, if the teacher identifies the mistakes of the students, then that means even in the examination hall, that means students will not be able to identify their mistakes because they are not trained in that manner. So it is always the teacher who identifies the mistakes and not they by themselves. So I thought, why not we better equip the students to identify their own mistakes that they commit in their solution. Now, how to do that? That means we need to train students to identify mistakes. So that means students should spot the error. But can they spot their own errors with ease at the beginning? That is probably not possible. We humans in general are very much eager or more curious to find the mistakes of others rather than of themselves. So I tapped this human tendency and devised this spot the error technique, wherein I as a teacher will provide a question with the solution. Now this is a difference from a conventional tutorial class, because in a conventional tutorial class, as a teacher or an instructor, I only provide the question or the problem. Whereas now what I do is I provide the problem with the solution also. The students will have to analyze whether that solution is acceptable. If there are any mistakes in the solution, they need to rectify and provide an appropriate solution. So in this method, both the question and the solution is provided to the students. Students find out whether the solution that is being provided is first correct. If it is not correct, then they need to rectify. So to identify a mistake or to correct a solution or to assess whether a given solution is correct, a person needs to more not only to solve, but he needs to really know where and all the mistakes can happen. So in this fashion, the students are much trained so that this will help them in their exams also to provide a better solution. Now I'll just quickly show you a sample sheet of spot the error. Now this is a spot the error that I have used in the fluid mechanics course. Now you can see here I have given her instruction that they have to read the question and ascertain whether the solution that is being provided is correct. It is not that all the solution is incorrect. Some solution may be correct, some may be incorrect. So they need to find out whether a given solution is correct. If at all, if there is anything incorrect, they need to rectify it. Now here you can see a question. I have solved it and I have asked them to give their own conclusion. Similarly, there is a second question which again I have solved it and there is their inference or conclusion about the solution that I have provided, and so do this third question. Now I make copies, multiple copies of this and hand over to the students. They work sometimes in team, sometimes independently. They check whether this answer is acceptable. If it is acceptable, they write it, why it is acceptable. If this is not acceptable, then they correct what is the incorrect step in this and then provide it. At the end of the class, I provide them the key also. So this is the first 2 pages that you give is what I give at the beginning of the class, and towards the end of the class when they have all corrected my sheets, I give them the actual key wherein I will tell them what is incorrect in the solution and what should have been the actual solution. Now you can see some of these I would have written here, and in some question probably everything is correct. So it is not that all questions are incorrect. Some solutions or not all solutions are incorrect. Some solutions could be correct itself and there is nothing wrong in the solution. So in this manner, if there is no error, then also they know how to solve a given problem. If there is error, they will find out what is a mistake and they will provide their own solution. So in this manner, I equip the students so that when they write their own solutions in the exam, they can do well. Thanks for watching this video. See you. Bye.